The Lake Chapala area is one of the hottest real estate markets in Mexico, and it's with very good reason. And today we are giving you everything you need to know, from prices to what's going on, what could be a good investment, what's the market looking like in this area, with Amanda Turner of The Real Amanda Turner, who happens to be one of the best real estate agents in the area. We're going to be working together on a lot of projects for a lot of our relocation clients and things, because, man, we get asked about this area. This one is San Miguel de Allende, or like 1 and 2, and Merida are 3. But every week we're getting questions about what's going on in Lake Chapala. What do I need to know? What are the prices looking like? So thank you so much for being here today to kind of share with us what you're seeing from being on the ground.
Yeah.
Running businesses here, but also helping people buy and sell real estate.
Thank you.
All right, guys, welcome to Entrepreneur Expat. In case you missed it, on this channel, we talk everything about international investments, global diversification, making money online so you can go anywhere in the world, and becoming a global citizen. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. And if you're interested in the Lake Chapala area with the real estate, we work very closely with Amanda in this area for all of our relocation clients. So just go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. We can help with everything from immigration to real estate to insurance and everything in between. So you have everything you need to make your move easy in one spot, instead of having it be fractured with a bunch of different contractors you need to find on your own. So again, that's entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. All right, Amanda. So you've been here since 2020, right?
No, I've been here. October will be 8 years. So
even longer than that.
2017, I guess.
So 2017, right? So I'm sure you have seen the utter explosion of this area. So what have you seen in the last 7 years, both in terms of Americans and Canadians? And I mean, we've met Italians here. We've met people from all over the world.
It's very diverse here, yeah.
In Ajijic. What have you seen in the last 7 years or 8 years in terms of the growth of this area in Mexico? Because I don't know, to me personally, I didn't know this place existed until I got here, but apparently a lot of people know this place exists.
Yeah, so it's very interesting, the different waves that have happened. So when I first came here, there were a lot of snowbirds. A lot of people would buy properties and then they'd vacation here 6 months of the year during the winter months from Canada or northern US. A lot of that was happening, snowbirds. So, and then rentals were huge. And what we noticed with the bed and breakfast is that people were reserving their rooms a year or two in advance. So they would come and they would stay, and then they'd put down a payment for the following year to stay for a month or so during the high season. Then it kind of moved, then it started moving to people were moving here more full time. So what I've noticed is that more people are full time now than snowbirds. So they just come, they buy a property, they sell everything they have north, and then they just move here for the whole year. And then there's a lot of last minute reservations in the bed and breakfast. We don't have so much of that, a year or two in advance like we used to have. It's more very last minute reservations.
What do you think is fueling, not the migration of, Americans and Canadians to Mexico? We've done videos ad nauseum about what's going on there. But what do you think is fueling this area specifically?
This area has a lot of pluses. I'd say the main thing is the close airport. It's only 30 minutes away from here. And it's an international airport, and they're actually redoing the Guadalajara airport right now, and it's beautiful. Have you been?
Oh yeah, we've flown in and out of there a bunch of times. Yeah.
So it's absolutely beautiful right now, and the proximity of the airport, and then I would say because this is such a large expat area, like there's a large concentration of expats, English speaking expats here. So it's a very soft landing for people who are looking to move out of the country. And it's still very close to the United States and Canada. So it's just like maybe one flight away for some people.
And also very close to Guadalajara, which is Mexico's second largest city. Yes. I know we recently moved out to the Lake Chapala area. We're in Ajijic now. We're more near Jocotepec. And that was one of the pluses for us. It's like, okay, we can get out of the city, right? Because we're a little done with the chaos of the city for now. But if we need to go back for whatever reason, like we were there running errands on Monday, no big deal. We're in and out the same day. So for those, so you like get but it feels like worlds apart from the
It
city
does.
here.
They're completely different
totally
places.
different.
Lake Chapala is still kind of stuck in the past. People still ride horses, and you know, the horses will be trotting down the street here sometimes.
I joke that our neighbors are cows.
Yeah. So that's really cool about it. Guadalajara is, yeah, it's a major city. It's, like you said, second largest city in Mexico, and but it's right there if you need it, if you just want to do something different, because this is a smaller town, so you have small town living here, you know. But the good thing about it is that another thing that's changed about this area is that previous to when I first got here, I believe my cafe, my business, was the first business in the area to have internet, actually. So that's changed. And it was much more a cash society back then, too. And now credit cards are starting to be incorporated more in a lot of the businesses. But
the infrastructure is not bad either, because we're out by the other side of the lake, and the internet we get here is actually better than the internet we were getting in Guadalajara.
Yeah, the infrastructure here is great because, you know, I mean, you have people demanding great internet because a lot of people are working online, or they're just used to having good internet from US or Canada, and so it's a high demand for that. And so what we're finding is that a lot more stores are opening up that will sell things in this area that previously you all had to go to Guadalajara to get those things. So a good example of that is Costco. So previous, you would have to go to Costco to get what you needed from Costco, and now there are plenty of stores that carry their products here, and so you can just go down the street.
Yeah, we noticed. We went to the famous Super Lake the other day, and we saw like Kirkland products.
Yeah, I know. Half the store is Kirkland products. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're like, they are price gouging us here, but we know it's because of the import taxes and all that stuff. For those of you who don't know, Super Lake is a well-known store in the Lake Chapala area where you can go find American and Canadian goods.
Yeah.
So if you missed your mac and cheese, you can go find
Velveeta.
it there. Yeah, we had a ball there the other day.
I know. So, Super Lake's where I go to get everything for the businesses, pretty much. Like that's my grocery store for sure. But yeah, the import products, so Velveeta macaroni and cheese is you know, they purchase the things from the United States, and then to cross the border with them, you have to pay a 50% fee for those things, and then you have to mark them up to make any kind of profit for having it in your store. So yeah, your import stuff is going to be more expensive than just your local goods.
Yeah, and for context, we're currently in Ajijic, right? So we are in Ajijic Centro, and it's Chapala, San Antonio. What is the rest? I always forget the rest of the name.
Chapala, Ribera, San Antonio, Ajijic, San Juan Cosala, Chantepec, and Jocotepec.
So this whole area, because we're more in like the Jocotepec area, and we've noticed how, for example, things are starting to develop a lot more over there. Like they just opened an OXXO and a pharmacy, like right down the mountain, right? And when I see stuff like that happening, both of us, like, because we have that entrepreneurial investor mindset, we're like, oh.
Yeah, this means something. You know what else?
Yeah.
So the Pancho's is a very popular grocery store here. It's a very nice, posh type of place. And they had a location in Riberas, and they just opened one, I would say about a year ago, in West Ajijic. And so that was kind of like a signal, oh, things are going to start moving around out there. But yeah, the area between Ajijic and San Juan Cosala is pretty much considered West Ajijic, and there's all new infrastructure out there. They're building gated communities. That's the place to buy. I mean, it was really the place to buy a couple of years ago, but I think it's still probably considered a place to buy right now.
So what are prices currently looking like in Ajijic? Because we get asked about Ajijic and Chapala specifically, and we're like, I mean, you can find some good stuff here, right? So what are they looking at for specifically Ajijic and Chapala, and then we can talk about other parts of the lake.
As far as prices go?
Yeah.
Okay, so land in Ajijic at the current moment is going for about $600 per square meter. To build, you're looking at anywhere from anywhere between $1,000 and $1,500 per square meter. Yeah, because there's tons of lots
for sale too, all around the lake. Yeah.
So, and that $1,000 to $1,500 for building, it just depends on what you're putting in your house. Are you using cantera stone? Are you doing marble tile? Like, what are you adding to it? You know, your basic
Talavera sinks.
Right, exactly. So that just depends on your taste preferences. And so yeah, that's basically it. So Ajijic is going to be the most expensive area in all of Lake Chapala. I'm not just talking about this lakeside area. In all of Lake Chapala, it's going to be your most expensive area.
A lot of people in the comments are saying things, and I heard you say this on a video, and this is what we've been telling people too. They're like, oh, Ajijic's gotten too expensive. And I heard you say on a video, I'm like, yeah, because Mexico's getting its shit together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a highly desirable area. So can you speak more to that? Because We have a lot of investors, for example, who will come work with us, and they'll be, they might already have properties. We literally had a conversation with someone the other day, already had properties in Dubai, and then also properties in Malta. Now they want to add to their portfolio in Latin America. Mexico's number one on their list. What is going on here that you have? And Reuters recently announced that international investors really have their eye on Mexico, Latin America in general, but Mexico being one of the top ones in Latin America. What is going on here? Because you've been here, the better part of the last 10 years. And I think the last time I was in Mexico was actually 2016 or 2017, around there. And then when I came back in 2023, I was like, what the hell happened here? Like, this is just whoosh, this has exploded. So what is going on that now so many investors have their eye on Mexico?
Well, I think what's happening is the idea of diversifying portfolios, like getting some of your funds out of the United States and Canada. The political climate is kind of everywhere in the world, is kind of having people are moving around.
It's global musical chairs. That's
yes,
what my mom
exactly.
calls it. Yeah.
I think that in terms of Mexico's place in the world, I don't think that there's too much threat going on here. Mexico kind of stays
out of people's business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think like there's not too much to worry about here. Like Mexico's not. I mean, of course they're in the running for becoming a great country, and they are a great country, and not as far as like GDP and all of that goes. They don't have nuclear weapons, anything like that. But Mexico, like you said, just kind of minds their own business. They're just here existing and doing their thing and trying to be the best that they can be. And I also think that you have a lot of natural landscape here, and the culture in itself is more people oriented. And I think the United States and Canada kind of misses that about people in general. And I think we're a little bit nostalgic about those things, like being closer to family, being closer to friends. And so I think that's happening. I think business wise, Mexico's kind of seeing what other places are doing, and they're not necessarily mimicking that, but they're trying, like I said, trying to do better as a country.
What
and
works.
Yeah, and they're inviting some of that foreign aspect into the country so that the country can start to grow a little more.
Yeah, I mean,
with
there's
the rest of the
investment
world.
here from all over the world, and we can like touch upon this briefly just because it was in the news. But on the American news, like there's a lot of news about riots in Mexico City. And I did this because we have friends in Mexico City, and they're like, this is being totally overblown.
I'm not so
like,
sure
this
it's
is not
a big deal.
Yeah, it's not as big of a deal as the news is making it out to be. And I think investors pretty much know that, because you look at where a lot of Mexico's money comes from, and it's not all foreigners. Let's be clear.
Right.
It's just like one piece
Well,
of the
foreigners
puzzle.
foreigners only account for 1% of the entire population of Mexico.
Yeah. So it's not like foreigners jacking up prices or anything like that. But in terms of, if you look at how Mexico brings in a lot of money, nearshoring was huge. That was one of the things, and then also foreign investment. Not foreign investment in the gringos moving here necessarily, although obviously that stimulates the economy in huge ways. But also just from all over the world, they're opening lines of business with countries all over the place. And they're kind of seeing like what their options are.
Yeah, that 1% that I mentioned is not just Americans and Canadians. I mean, they are the majority, but the 1% includes people from all over the world.
Yeah,
foreigners, and that includes even more southern countries than Mexico.
Yeah, one of the things we've noticed in our analytics, because we check them all the time, is we have traffic coming in from all over the world. Like obviously Americans and Canadians are number one, or one and two, but now we're getting them from everywhere. I mean, we've had traffic coming in from Brazil, from Argentina, from Europe, from Asia, and we're like, whoa, okay, there's a lot of global interest in Mexico right now, because like you said, they're getting their shit together. I was reading the other day that Mexico is kind of an emerging market, and what a lot of people who are interested in global diversification are telling us, and what we try and tell people because we see it with our own two eyes, and I'm sure you've seen it even more than we have because you've been here much longer, is like, like things in Mexico are kind of like in an upward trajectory, and then you look at countries that a lot of us come from, and it's kind of like the opposite situation. is going on right now, where life is just getting more difficult
Yeah.
in countries like the United States and Canada. Or to your point, they're involved in how many conflicts is the United States involved in at this point?
Yeah.
That does affect you and how you're able to move globally and things like that.
There's a lot of turmoil everywhere, and I think for the most part, Mexico, like, where's the turmoil? Like, there's not really anything going on. I mean, we mentioned the riots in Mexico City, but I mean, everybody kind of knows that that's a nothing burger, So, but other than that, like, yeah, like Mexico's just chilling over here, and I think people appreciate that.
Mexico's just chilling. Everybody's just chilling. And one thing that a lot of Mexicans have told me is, in Mexico, people have issues with the government, but government's an issue everywhere. Governments are going to do what governments do. It
Oh,
is
yeah,
what it is.
the government here needs work for
Yeah,
sure, but that's everywhere.
That's everywhere. That's why you globally diversify, to your point, and which is what a lot of people are starting to do. But what a lot of Mexicans have told me is like, yeah, here they let you work and they let you make money. Like they let you go make your money.
Yeah.
No one gets in the way of doing that. And that's something that we've heard from people interested in moving here or investing here or starting businesses here like you did, that's something that interests them because they're starting to, again, see like the opposite in the countries that they're from. Okay, so Ajijiqu's more expensive, right? What would you think is probably better for like a long-term investor? Like we're closer to Jocotepec, we love it, right? And then like I said, we saw the OXXO starting to come up and a lot of construction and things, and we're like, oh boy, right? Things are shifting and changing over here. And we did a video the other day that got a lot of attention. That was how like if you really want to like invest and like long haul, you're probably going to get better returns. If that's your goal, you're going to get better returns somewhere else on the lake than Ajijic.
Yeah, so Ajijiqu's more of like a destination place. It's going to be the most expensive. It's kind of one of those situations where like I have to be in Ajijic. I have to experience this, That's
Which
one of those situations.
Let's be real.
It's definitely a vibe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's historic centro, basically.
Yeah.
Like some of these buildings are, 500 years old. So, but I would say the least expensive area to purchase is Jocotepec. And you and I kind of talked about this a little bit, where between Ajijic Centro and San Juan Cosala, which is considered West Ajijic, that area is starting to develop more, but it's going to start moving more towards Joco. So buying at these low prices that Joco has is actually a really good idea. Being somewhere, they're starting to sell land on the Libramiento or on the
we saw that
on the Joco bypass, which would be a great place to buy. I mean, I think eventually it's going to have a lot of traffic, so the noise might be an issue, but you can fix that with like noise cancellation windows and all that. But you're going to have the views up there on the Joco bypass. And to me, in my opinion, from Joco out are the best views on the whole lake. I mean, it looks like you're on an ocean.
I mean, we're right by Joco, and our views are phenomenal. In the rental that we're in, like you don't get views like that in Ajijic and Chapala anymore. It's just not.
The downside to Joco right now is that it's a little bit further from the airport. I believe it's about 45 minutes to an hour to the airport from there. There's less of an English-speaking community there, but that's personal preference. Like some people would rather be, immerse themselves and be in the language.
Yeah, like us. That's how we do it.
Yeah. So I mean, Guadalajara is still the same distance because you just take the Joco back way. But yeah, I think Joco is a good buy. I think in 10 years it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying long term, because he was there and he's like, holy crap, like seeing all the opportunity in Joco. He's like, I'd buy here over Ajijic, but he's thinking with investor mindset. But I think I read that like Ajijic Chapala area, you're still looking at like 8 to 10% appreciation every year on the properties. I don't know if that's true or not, or if you can.
Yeah, I think this whole lakeside area is appreciating like that, for sure.
Which, if you compare that,
I think Ajijic a little more, but Ajijic's its own little
world.
bubble. Yeah,
it's in its own world.
Yeah.
And there are some properties in Ajijic. I'm not sure where we were the first time we were coming here, but there's some like roads over that way, where like the houses are stunning.
Oh, that's La Floresta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stunning
that's
houses.
the most. That's next to Ajijic. That's probably the most highly desired neighborhood to live in, Upper and Lower La Floresta.
And La Floresta, because we became familiar with it when we moved out here and we had to run a bunch of errands. Like, I mean, it has everything that you need. You've got the storage, you've got the Walmart, you've got the Telcel, you've got the AutoZone, like literally all in one spot. Right
and
there.
it's wide roads. Cobblestones are well cared for. They have their own garbage trucks and facilities, and it's very lush. Lots of greenery in there.
So, do people need one thing that happens in Mexico is the fideicomiso, which is if you're learning, I think it's 50 kilometers from a coastline, right?
Trust.
You need basically a bank trust
Yeah.
in order to be able to own the property. Basically, you like lease the land, but you have property owner rights, is how those things work. Very common for other countries to do that in different ways. Thailand, the whole country is like that.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
The whole country is like that in Thailand, where like it has to be a Thai person who's like a 51% owner of the property.
Well, okay.
For example, and if you are buying property as a foreigner, you have to do a trust, all that kind of stuff. I think the exception is like buildings, like in Bangkok, because I think it goes according to the building.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, well, 51% of the people in the building need to be Thai, but then you.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So I think that's the only like kind of difference.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's not uncommon.
Right.
For people to do that. Does that apply here lakeside? Because technically you're on a coast.
No, it doesn't apply here.
It doesn't apply
here?
No,
it's only for oceans.
Okay. And cenotes, did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that about
cenotes.
cenotes.
Also
but that makes sense because you can make, I mean, that's a huge resource and making money on that. That type of situation. So that makes total sense.
So for this area, you would not need a fideicomiso. You own the land outright. Do you see that changing anytime in the future? Because I think a lot of people are, with the nothing burger protests.
Yeah.
A lot of people are now maybe feeling a little concerned.
I can't speak on what the government's going to do about this situation.
You never know. That's why you globally
exactly.
diversify.
So it could come to that point. I know that here in this area, we have what's called ejido land. So it's basically native land. And you can own it as a foreigner. But it's basically the same thing as a fideicomiso or a trust where you don't outright own it,
Right.
But the ejido land is only ejido for about 25 years, and then you can take it out of the ejido title. Most people don't like to buy ejido for that reason because it's like a trust.
Yeah.
And who knows, like maybe if the political climate gets worse and does somehow move this way to Mexico, all the people, the natives could be like,
diversify.
We want our land back. I don't know, So it's not very common that people buy ejido and they kind of try to stay away from it. I stay away from it buying and selling.
Yeah.
I don't think it's my place. I feel like that should probably be, what it's there for is for the Mexicans. And so it's also very difficult because I work mostly with Americans and Canadians. So, I prefer not to
deal with any of that stuff. Yeah, because it does add a layer of complication to the process. Although, we have some contacts where, they have direct, and like it's worked, right? But it does lead to other layers of complication that people may not want to deal with. And in terms of like what happens in Mexico or whatever, that's why you globally diversify. We keep saying that, like maybe we're looking at like, hey, maybe we just buy up some land here. We could get some good deals there.
Yeah.
Because we'd rather buy it here than Tulum, right? For example. And then, we go to the next country and we figure out and you diversify the portfolio. Speaking of Tulum, right? One thing that I've noticed here, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, you're going to have to tell me, but I've noticed there's not like a bunch of high rises or anything around the Lake Chapala area, which I like, right? Because if you look at it from kind of an investment perspective, if we compare that to like Tulum, which you were just saying you were in Tulum not long ago, Tulum had a real estate bust. Not too long ago, there was overdevelopment, overbuilding. You were there, you saw it for yourself. You're like, this is totally cheap construction. This is crazy. A lot of projects had to stop. They didn't have money coming in. There are opportunities in terms of like, hey, you can invest in a project that's 60% done, or maybe somebody needs to do a fire, you could, but there's a big bust going on in Tulum right now, and it's just high rise, and overdevelopment. I haven't seen that here. I don't know if that's like on purpose or...
Well,
Yeah.
I think, okay, one of the things that people should probably know about Mexico is that financing is very difficult to
Yeah.
obtain, even for citizens, people who live here their whole lives. Interest rates are fairly high.
Very high.
So that's a factor in that it's not easy to get financing. And so to finish a project, you've got to come up with your own capital. That does happen here from time to time. There's a specific building that I have in mind over past the Walmart a little bit. I don't know if you guys, it's a 2-story building and it has commercial spaces in the front, and then in the back are the condos that people
I'll
can
pay
purchase.
attention on the way back today. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think exactly where it is. It's across. There aren't really any landmarks over there, but you'll see it like once you pass the light for Walmart. That thing has been under construction since I've lived here, and it's just constantly under construction. And I think it's the same thing is happening where they're just trying to get owner funding, basically. So they sell a unit and then they continue with the project, but it's not selling as well. And part of the reason is because I don't think that they have an elevator there, so people don't necessarily want to climb stairs. It's a very common thing here that people want one level or an elevator included with the property. Also, most people want a home here. They want a standalone home, and they want character. They want that
That's big in
colonial style.
Ajijic, yeah.
Yeah, and these condos that are going up are more modern
Yeah.
style. And people are leaving the U.S. They don't want that, They the Mexicans who are coming from Guadalajara or other parts of Mexico, they don't want that either,
Yeah.
So
They have that over there. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't feel like it's necessarily going to take off here because I think people really like the idea of like the quaintness of this town, like the historic aspect of Lake Chapala and just like it's still kind of the Wild West, and I think that's what people like about it.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot more opportunity here for sure than in Guadalajara, because we've got DMs from people being like, I want to buy in Guadalajara, and we're like, well, unless you like have to be in Guadalajara for some reason,
Right.
I don't see it like being, because the owner of where we were in Guadalajara wanted to sell the house, so we ended up doing a lot of research on real estate markets and things like that, and we came to the conclusion like unless you like have to be here, we don't really think it makes a whole lot of sense in terms of like an investment perspective.
Right.
Now,
I totally agree.
Now, if it's a lifestyle choice, right? Like I really love the city, I want to be here, I see myself here for a long time. That's a totally different story.
Right.
But I feel like there's definitely a lot more opportunity over here. I think Ajijic, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Ajijic kind of is moving in that direction where it's more of a lifestyle choice.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
For sure.
Not necessarily like, hey, I'm going to get a good investment out of this. Yeah.
Right. Their investment properties in Lake Chapala are hard to find.
Yeah.
It's they come up, I would say 1 in every 20 to 30 properties that get listed, you're going to find a good investment property. But yeah, it's more lifestyle than anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you guys are interested in this area, we can help you in a few ways. So for our relocation clients who are interested in the Ajijic area, we put you up in this bed and breakfast in the Ajijic Centro, the #1 bed and breakfast in this area, run by Amanda and her husband. And then on top of that, you get more bang for your buck because we could do real estate tours.
Yes.
As well in the area, whether you're looking for, hey, I'm going to Ajijic, it's lifestyle, I'm not looking to sell this thing in 10 years or anything like that, or if you're more adventurous and you want more opportunity maybe out by Hoko and that whole area, we can help you because we get requests for both depending on the profile of the buyer and what they're looking to do. So all you need to do is go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult. We put the whole team together for you, not just here but also other parts of Mexico, and we would be more than happy to help you. Is there anything else you think they should know about this area?
I don't think so. I think, I mean, there are a lot of videos out there about Ajijic in the Lake Chapala area. So I feel like we kind of covered some ground on things that aren't necessarily being asked. So they're great questions. But no, I think, yeah, and then I have my channel too.
The real Amanda Turner. Yes. I love her real estate videos. I think they're some of the best in Mexico. The others are like way too corporate, and you're like quirky and fun.
Thanks.
And you really show, but you'll see like and we'll start doing some real estate tours with you as well.
Yeah.
Because I think what I really like about this Ajijic area, for those of you where it's a lifestyle choice, is like what you said, the architecture, that old school
Yes,
Mexican
every home is
hacienda
different. Like they're very
colonial
different.
with the adobe ceilings.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're stunning properties
Yeah.
out here in the Ajijic area for those of you who want
Yeah.
that. You're just probably not going to find them for a steal. Like those of you who are like,
Right.
I have 50 grand to spend on a house. Like Ajijic
That
is not.
doesn't exist
That doesn't
really
exist.
in Mexico
Yeah.
much anymore, you know?
No.
Like I mean the whole world is going through inflation and you know, there's higher prices in the world these days.
Yeah.
Like in Mexico, like we said, is growing up. So those steals, like they just don't really exist anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, and speaking of inflation, but this is good for perhaps the investors. I don't know if you knew this, but you know that like in the United States where we're from, they just keep raising the debt ceiling and spending more money.
Right.
Mexico announced last week that they cut their deficit by $8.5 billion.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's what you're saying. It's like, hey, we're growing up.
Yes,
like we're adulting now.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're adulting. So, you know, for those of you who are investors, or a lot of people are concerned about how much money the United States and Europe spends, and it's not
Right.
sustainable for the long term. Well,
Right.
you know, Mexico just cut its deficit by over $8 billion.
Yeah.
So-
And anybody who wants to bitch about Mexico not being affordable anymore, I mean, I'm proud of Mexico for that reason, you
Me
know,
too.
like it's not
Yeah,
a bad
us too.
thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and to Mexico's credit, I mean, even in the immigration process, they're looking for people who have means and resources because, I mean, it makes sense, you know, like they're like, we don't want people who are going to be a burden on the system. I mean, they don't have
Correct.
systems like that to begin with.
well,
You know?
the minimum wage is directly attached to the minimum amount for solvency to become a resident. So
Yeah.
if the solvency increases, so does minimum wage, so that you know, Americans and Canadians and other foreigners aren't competing for Mexican jobs.
That's another thing a lot of people don't realize. I know we're going on a bit of a tangent here, but I think this is important. Like a lot of people think they're going to come here and find a job. And I'm like, no, you're not going to
Yeah, no.
compete with Mexicans for
Yeah.
jobs. Like the government is not going to want you.
Yeah, in fact, we
Yeah.
only hire. It's so rare that we even hire
Well, you
anyone
have a business here. You can speak to
outside
that. Yeah.
outside of this town.
Yeah.
Like we try to hire only people who are from the Lake Chapala area. Like Guadalajarans come over here, or you know, I don't know, anywhere else in Mexico, they come and they want a job here. We try to keep it very, very local.
Yeah, and Mexico wants, from what we're seeing with the immigration stuff, they want people who have means and who are going to contribute to
Yeah.
the economy. They're making it easier for people who want to contribute to the economy, and I think that's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's common sense when you think about it.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yes, especially for a country that was kind of in distress like Mexico was. They needed a little bit of outside help, you know. So they invited that in, and so I think they're benefiting from that now, and that's excellent.
That's
great.
Good for Mexico, and it's on that upward trajectory. Hopefully, knock on wood, it stays that way for Mexico
Yeah.
and Mexicans, because it really is an amazing country. Like investments aside,
Yeah.
you know, just, you know, we talk to people from all over the world, and Mexico always comes up as like one of the top places in terms of food, culture, quality of life. And now we can add, you know, economic opportunity, because I think maybe other people don't realize this. You know, Mexico also has a growing middle class, and also people moving more into like upper middle class. Like Mexicans are also starting to make money
Yeah.
in ways that they've never made money before.
Yes.
You know, and they're becoming more educated. And usually that's a pretty good indicator in terms of where a country is moving. So it makes sense that a lot of investors are kind of eyeing what's going on here. And they're like, we're gonna keep our eye on that one.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
We might put a little money there, or we might buy some real estate there, and have a footprint
Yeah.
in Latin America, and in a country that, you know, for all intents and purposes around Latin America, Mexico is pretty stable. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well,
I
thank
agree.
you so much for sharing your insights on the real
Thank
estate
you,
and
Amanda.
investments, and your experience living here for as long as you have. And the other video we did about running brick and mortar businesses here in Mexico. We really look forward to doing a lot more real estate tour videos.
I
with
know. I'm
you.
excited. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, we actually have some clients coming to this area in September. So, you know, we'll probably be like chit-chatting over here in the bed and breakfast with everybody as we help them relocate. Because what a lot of people don't realize is, you know, we can help people with the immigration process, and then we'll also take care of your housing for you with what you pay us. So you don't have to worry about anything at all in this entire process. So we look forward to really doing a lot more business with you and partnering with you and seeing how this grows, how Ajijic grows, how Mexico grows. And yeah, we're going to be bringing you a lot of business, Amanda Turner.
Yay! Hopefully I'll bring you some too. Yay!
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching us today. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And once again, if you are interested in moving to Mexico, we handle immigration. We help you with insurance. We help you with tax strategy. We work with people like Amanda, not just for a place to put you up while you're here handling your immigration, but also real estate tours and things like that. We work with the best of the best. As you can see, we go meet them in person. So you don't have to go find them yourself. So just go to entrepreneurexpat.com/consult and you can apply to work with us, whether you're interested in moving here as a lifestyle choice or investment. We got you covered. Thank you so much for being the best part of Entrepreneur Expat, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.